that educate or that brainwashing, and then we know that the older folks, they got some information too, but we see them dying off as well. Yeah. Whether if it's COVID or health issues. So we're allowing ourselves to be manipulated, I guess, or taken advantage of, because we already know, especially our generation. Like we've seen the VHS tapes and to all the way to the digital shit. Yeah. We got kids that don't even know about VHS. Yeah. This is their reality, you know? So I don't know. I just as long as we focus on our one reality, our own perspective, and I understand how ours come together and putting these pieces together, then I feel like we just gonna further be taken advantage of as a collective.
Yeah. Welcome back to Real Conversations, Real Solutions, episode 6. Today we're going to be discussing all things health and wellness. We're going to be talking about community, divergent realities, entrepreneurship. This is a conversation I have been highly anticipating on. Today, our guest is multifaceted. He's a current candidate for the Dallas City Council District 8, a Dallas musician. He's also the owner of The Alkaline Hour, which is an herbal and wellness shop located in Dallas. He also offers community service events, camping and foraging trips, and many others. This is someone who I consider a walking solution. So without further ado, here's our guest, Demonte Peters, aka Brotha Shawt.
Hey, well, I appreciate the warm welcome. Appreciate you inviting me out here.
Of course.
So looking forward to the conversation as well.
Okay, let's get into it. So the first topic we're going to talk about is health. So I kind of wanted to get into not necessarily health politics, but kind of sort of. So I had a video on my YouTube previously talking about just the World Health Organization and how they had a treaty that passed. I think it was in maybe April. And with this treaty, it basically gives over the rights of basically all of our rights, essentially. I kind of wanted to know, just like your perspective as you're running for a city council, just on, I guess, politics, but more like on the health side, and like what you've come across and what you've just learned like throughout that process.
So when you deal with politics, especially dealing with governments and things of that nature, these are things that affect, or these are bodies that affect a lot of people. Government or politics influences the lives of thousands or millions of families. And then so whether if that's a decision on, subsidizing or giving money to these fast food chains, like that does go on, that is a political decision. Even the fact that we have used to have a dollar menu, and just these different projects that they create, these crazy, combinations of foods in the fast food stores, that's actually boiled down to a political decision. Even the pricing of herbs, of importing and exporting, the politics on that level. So anyway, politics affects every aspect of our lives. It affects the value of things, just like for marijuana, just being a plant that has a lot of politics around it. It being the legalization or illegal or the criminalization of this plant, being a political decision, affects the commerce and the value around this plant, so making a life form or a plant illegal makes it more valuable sometimes, or the limited access to it. So, long story short, I guess, just politics affects every aspect of our lives. Plants also affect every aspect of our lives as well. And, even if that's a decision on what we eat, but how we eat is also, not always our decision. Sometimes it's influenced by things like government, like you said.
Yeah. I think like the most shocking to me is just like the control aspect, and you realize like, wait a minute, like who's really running all this? Who's really orchestrating, how, this city gets a liquor store and this city gets like a grocery store, and it's just like, okay, there might be an agenda, at play. So
Yeah, that's true. Also, just relating to Dallas, so Parkland in Dallas County did a comprehensive health survey in 2019. What they came up with was 5 of the most unhealthiest zip codes in the Dallas County, which my store, being in 75216, happens to be located in one of those unhealthiest zip codes. But also, if you live if you live under I-30, south of I-30, your life expectancy is 30 years less than those who live above I-30.
I heard that.
You know,
yes.
So it's just a thing, you know, and we look at, well, what stores or what access to food do we have in our community, which does play a role because we have been conditioned and been taught or bred to be consumers, you know. Not necessarily be super intentional or mindful about what we're putting in our bodies. And I think it allows spaces like this. However, we do have the option. So the CDC says Americans or African Americans are dying disproportionately from other people, and especially younger African Americans. We're dying way at a higher rate than our elders are. But they're attributing to this, the CDC is attributing this to, the lack of finances. We can't afford quality food.
Yeah.
We don't have, access to great insurance or whatever. So basically, long story short, they're trying to say there's a economic disproportion as to why Black people are also disproportionately affected by health issues. However, I would say that there are well-to-do niggas that are also succumbing to the same health issues that poor Blacks are being, taken from this earth by as well. So I don't think it is an economic thing. I think it's a decision of choice and education. Like, we have the ability to grow our own food right in our neighborhood. So just because there aren't, we're in a food desert, and the politicians aren't allowing, these or attracting major change and healthy change to our neighborhood, we still have the ability to say we're going to use that empty lot, and instead of trap it out and sell drugs out of it, we can grow our own produce on it. You know what I'm saying? So we have the ability to change our neighborhood with our own hands through changing our mindset. So I don't want to make it seem like it's all bad, even though there is a control because they've controlled our mind. We think we have to go to the store to purchase food. We think we have to do that, but we don't always understand. And a lot of us are getting more into that understanding, but we do have control and a say-so on where our food comes from, how we interact with our food, and what we put in our body.
Yeah. And then also, I guess, just to add on to that, just like for the common people, just be mindful of, things that are labeled as an organization, like, American Heart Association, all of these things. And sometimes, I don't know if I say that. So recently, I would say it anyway. So, throughout like my health journey, I've realized a lot of these organizations, whenever you do follow the money and you realize how they're funded, I think it's funny how the American Heart Association is funded by meat companies, whenever that's the main leader to cardiovascular disease. So oftentimes I know people that don't necessarily have the knowledge, they're tricked, they're quick to trust, a certain organization or somebody with a white coat. But, the purpose of this podcast is just so, to educate y'all to not be so trusting and, look to some other sources to your solutions. I just found out probably about 2 days ago that Ozempic, one of the main, I guess the owner, or the person that owns Ozempic, the stock or whatever, the NAACP is either getting funded or funds that drug. And you would never think or never make that connection. And I just found out because that's somebody that really goes into finance and analytics, and they're like, the funding is coming from there. A Black organization, which a drug is meant to treat diabetes. We know it's not being used to treat diabetes, but that correlation, and it's just like, wow. And then you find out that the NAACP is basically something about it'll be racist for people to say you can't use Ozempic because it's targeting diabetes, something along the lines of that, because they want people to keep using the drug. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to bring that up because I know Ozempic is just like a popular thing right now. Yeah,
it's true, and unfortunately, people's insecurities are making them do things that take prescription medication, chemicals, just to meet a certain level of vanity. You know what I'm saying? Most people aren't using it for weight loss. For diabetes management. They're using it for weight loss. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate, that there are natural things that we can do to take our confidence back in our bodies. But hey, to each their own.
Exactly. So along with the conversation of health, we can just talk about, just like the importance of maintaining your physical, your emotional, and mental well-being. There's different things that you can do. I know you can pretty much, I can share like some of the things that I practice daily that helps me into just like my health and wellness regimen. Waking up in the morning, saying my affirmations, making sure I get sunlight every day. Like, what are some things that you kind of do, I guess, like in your everyday life?
Just like my routine kind of self-care type of.
Yeah.
I like to wake up and I try to not be on my phone when I wake up, just to let my mind, settle and without putting extra stimuli in my mind that I gotta respond to. I try to think about my day. If I can, work out, yoga, a little meditation. That's when I'm doing when I write, you know what I'm saying? And I'll read, but just being an entrepreneur, solopreneur, sometimes my sleep schedule and my wake up schedule isn't always consistent, but ideally I'll be doing those things and throwing in some hiking and some nature walking and looking at plants kind of before I start my day. Yeah, it's like my thing. My little space.
Yeah. I'm glad you actually mentioned entrepreneurship, because that's a perfect segue into the next topic of entrepreneurship. So I guess to start into that conversation, I know me personally, I feel like for entrepreneurship, you don't necessarily have to think of having a business per se, because everybody says every day you're walking around, you're a walking brand, whether you have an LLC, don't have an LLC, that's just a message that you're sending out. But whenever I have started on this journey to, create content, create an LLC, I kind of came into, just a roadblock, because I was trying to balance in between, the life that I'm trying to show on social media and actually really truly live that life. And so in order to truly live that life, sometimes you have to step away, but you also have this demand to where it's saying post every day. And it's like, okay, I want to post and I want to be in my authentic self. So I just want to ask, like, have you ever came across that challenge, or just, having a false identity, or, just, always wanted to present things as they are? Because, on this, I guess, social media realm, you have a lot of false identities, or people that's just, portraying themselves one way and not being that.
Yeah, I think it's super common. For me, I don't think I necessarily had that issue per se. I guess my thing was just being self-conscious about how people would receive my content and what I'm saying, and then just the differences that I might have. Most people might think of a health person, or somebody who's aspiring to be in politics. They might have a certain image in their head of what that's supposed to be, or what they're used to that looking like. And I never really caught myself up in that. I've thought about it. Don't get it twisted. I've thought about it, but it's just always been a call to just be authentic to myself. Because at the end of the day, I don't know these people on social media. They don't pay my bills, I don't know them motherfuckers. And then, the fans and people who are audiences or consumers of content, those people are like so finicky anyway. Like they'll love the shit out of you one day and then hate you the next day, you know? Yeah. So, you know, you just can't get caught up in that. You got to get caught up in what's your message, what are you doing? And also another thing is like when I started doing this like around 2016, and it started with a YouTube channel and me just kind of, you know, documenting my journey and me becoming alkaline. And like I just, at that time, I wanted my stuff to be perfect, but I also allowed myself, I allowed growth. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I'll post videos, people be like, oh, well, this isn't alkaline, or why are you using that? But, you know, it's like, at first it's like almost embarrassing. It's like, oh, wow, did they call me out, you know? But then it's like, well, it's only a opportunity to get better. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you fucked up, and it's feedback. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people on the internet, they're not the most soft-spoken people, you know, but at the end of the day, it's feedback that you can utilize to make your next one better. Yeah. The other thing, too, is, you know, just like I said, just doing it for yourself, whatever your mission is, just always keeping that in mind, and allowing growth and allowing yourself to document your growth, you know, because when I started in 2016, like I was a whole different person. The way I talk, the way I speak, I had the same heart, you know, but with me pushing that off, it's like now I don't necessarily get to see that growth on video, you know, because I've always pushed it off, trying to get it better, never put it out, but 5 years later, 6 years later, of course you're going to grow. Of course you're going to be, you know, so just allowing yourself that space while you're doing what you're doing. People got to allow people to grow, and they don't do that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think that's also important in entrepreneurship, that, you know, you make sure that your business like aligns with your values. If it's something that, you know, you feel like represents you as a person, you know, you won't, you know, have so much of that fight or like, oh, am I portraying myself in the right way? Like if it relates to something that's, you know, authentically you, then, you know, it'll lessen that struggle. Right. And with that, I guess we can talk on how, you know, in entrepreneurship, you have to be resilient. You have to be able to pivot. Like you said, you know, allowing yourself, give yourself that grace. I know me personally, even with this podcast, I started off like in somebody's living room. It was just 2 little iPhone cameras, and like now it's different. But yeah, if I wouldn't have documented like that moment or said, nah, let me wait till I get this, or I can afford to pay somebody for this, like that would never happen. Because now whenever I look back on episode 1, I'm like, wow, we done came a long way.
Yeah. The people say that too. The listeners say that too. They feel like they got to grow with you. Yeah. So allow them that space too.
So also to kind of tie into the first topic in a second of health and entrepreneurship, can you speak a little bit on how important it is just to maintain your health as an entrepreneur? Because like you said, you already brought up sleep, stress, just I guess some ways like how people can balance that.
Yeah, for sure. So you know, obviously the most important machine in business is the human machine, because every machine has to be maintenance or first off created by the person, by the human. So if the human isn't able to work the machine, operate it, produce the product, or fix the machine when it comes down, then, you know, the business is affected by that. So, you know, the person is the main important, crucial part to business. And what if that's the owner or the operators or both? You know, everybody has their function in their job. People feel like they can replace people with machines, and that's not necessarily the case. However, I will say this, that, you know, some people live their whole life trying to accumulate what they're trying to accumulate. They're trying to meet the goals that they've set for themselves. And then some of us, we finally do that. We finally accomplish the task, the you know, the thing we set out to accomplish. And then we find ourselves also battling another battle of you know, health disease, you know. Some people, you know, they're battling their health disease while trying to accumulate. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it's not always about the destination. Sometimes it's about the journey. And then so if your health isn't right, if your vehicle isn't right, who cares if you make it to fucking Beverly Hills, but you in a ran down car, you know what I'm saying? Or you make it to your destination, but you're not going to get to enjoy the spoils of what you've accumulated and what you've done. Because now you have heart failure, kidney failure, stage 4 cancers, and the myriad of other things that are, deferring people's dreams and taking people's lives, too short. But a lot of this can be mitigated with investments in your health. It's like, you got to invest in your business. You got to invest in your finances. You got to invest in your skill set, your mindset. But we also have to make those same investments into our health and our longevity, because there's going to be a day. It's going to be a day. You feel me? We're going to be old and we're going to be great. Okay. You feel me? We're going to be decrepit, But we have the ability to do something about that. You don't have to be broken down. There's so many examples of 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, elders who are very vibrant, who can move, who have vitality and life and very vigorous. And it's all about the investments that they make into their health, whether that's in terms of diet, herbs, diet and nutrition, or if it's exercising, or if it's just, keeping themselves in a space that mentally allows them to, be conducive to whatever their goals are. But definitely, it's extremely important. And then for those of us that have children that may be watching, it's not fair to allow to force your kids to grow up in this world by themselves because you didn't have control over what you put in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair to them. It's not fair to, make your kids grow up figuring out this world by themselves and not having the tools that they need from you, because you would rather, get your taste buds right. You know what I'm saying? You'd rather, put that in your stomach, eat the Ruth Chris, the steak, the $100 plate, that inflammatory food. And we know it tastes good. That's what it's supposed to do. We have chefs, we have scientists that go and mix the flavors, and they know how to make your taste buds respond. So we know that the food is good, but it's also addictive. And if you can't leave it alone, then that's an addiction, So seek help.
Speak on it.
Seek help, you know what I'm saying? We know that sirloin is gooder than a mug, you know what I'm saying? We know, but, there's things in it that may be taking you away from your children, you understand me, and causing heart disease, which is the number one killer of people in America, really worldwide, but in America. And then Black men, age 20 and over 56% of us are dealing with hypertension, which is blood pressure. High blood pressure issues, which is a leading cause of heart disease. Okay, so we got to do something different. Our generation, we've seen the changes in technology, the changes in just the way life has been. So we have to be that bridge. We see that older generation has been dying out. They're continuing to be dying. And then our parents are also going to be the next older people that are going to be dying out as well. So I'm saying all of this to say that, yes, man, your health is extremely important. But think about the other thing, man. Think about your kids. You're saying you're doing all this and doing that. You're working your ass off for your kids. Then eat your ass off for your kids too. You see what I'm saying? So your health is extremely important for the entrepreneur. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you work a 9 to 5, even if you work a job, or you might work a 12-hour shift like other people that we know. You know what I'm saying? That job, that company, that business is not worth your longevity. We work these warehouse jobs, and then, after they done using us, we ain't got no back no more. We looking like the hunchback of Notre Dame around this motherfucker. But, your spine is very integral to your nervous system and every part of your body. So long story short, I'm saying all of this to say, be mindful about the decisions that you make. and make investments of your health in your health, not just financial investments, not just investments for your kids, not just educational and mindset investments, but also investments in your longevity through herbs, diet, lifestyle. And don't put that off because you're trying to chase the bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Chase your health.
Yes. I love that you said all of that. One of my favorite quotes, I don't know, did I make it? I don't think I made it up. I always say, like, people are always focused on wealth, but, like, it's no point in focusing on the wealth if you can't ever see it. That's essentially, like, what you said. Like, everybody like, oh, let's get the bag, but you won't even be able to see your kids get the bag. Yeah, like, it just doesn't make sense.
I know niggas that go off of, they don't do energy drinks, don't do herbs, they roll off of pills to do extra work. You know what I'm saying? They do drugs to cope and make them go harder so they can make more money. And it's like, man, we ain't got to do that.
Get to the bag. I'm talking about back breaking, can't even play with your little ones, your grands.
Nah, for real.
Yeah. So next topic I want to talk about is community, just because I feel like that is something that is very important. And now in this day and age with social media, I just feel like it's just a lot of things that we kind of need to get back to. And I feel like community is just one of the ways that we can really see us as a people like progress at a faster rate. I often feel like we as Black people, we don't really understand our value, and we don't understand how we're the catalyst for everything. We already know hip hop culture. We see the BBLs now, like who they trying to imitate, right. Who they trying to portray with the lip filler, the butt fillers, like everything. Like we don't understand, like we are the superior. We don't understand our influence, and if we come together, how we did with Popeyes, with the little chicken, we had every store chain, like lines everywhere, looped around because of us. Right. So I just want to speak on just like the power of, us coming together as a community. And we could speak on that general, or you could just say some ways also how you have tried to bring the community together. Because I know I've personally been on one of your, foraging trips. You actually promote things that can not only bring people together, but bring us together and get us well.
Yeah, so community is definitely a major piece of what I'm doing and trying to foster is bringing people together, because we see the lack of community and where that has led us. People feel like they shouldn't be role models. They feel like kids are just going to eventually do whatever they do and make the decision that they're going to make and become who they're going to become. And I completely disagree with that. I think we need models and representation and images of what a man or what a woman or what just, giving kids other options to look up to. And we see the lack of unity, whether if it's in our culture or whether if it's in our families, whatever, it's just, we got to understand that Black people, we are the heartbeat, I feel like, of the world, and especially the commercial world. However, it's our collective unity, us as a collective is the heartbeat, you know what I'm saying? So not this individual guy or that individual celebrity or that record label or these society or the affluent people or whatever. No, it's the whole Black experience, the spectrum. It's like just when you look at a spectrum of light, like there's different colors, there's different saturations and brightnesses and dimness, and that's what Blackness is. Also, there's different lights and different darkness and depths of what Black is. From my perspective, and our whole collective experience is what is so powerful and spiritual and what makes the world breathe. However, we've had over 400 years of trauma, mental anguish, despair, and things that have affected our DNA, our cultural expression, our representation. So we have had things that we need to heal from collectively, and we only see how, and I don't think it's, I think it's multifaceted because they've also defunded the schools. They took a lot of the programs that our parents had out of the schools that we were into, which foster community. But we just, whatever we need to do. We need to come together. But we do see that, nowadays when we don't have community and we don't have these things at the forefront, we have children that feel like they have to sell their bodies for finances, or we have young men that feel like they have to, take a life to, impress their friends. So we're creating a community that seems like it's based off of whatever entertainment or whatever the media is pushing off on us. Mm-hmm. And that's our culture, and that's what our kids are emulating. So that's why positive influences, community, bringing us together is so important, because it shapes the next generation and what they think is even possible. Because if you've never seen somebody selling a body for finances, you wouldn't even know that you could even do that. You know what I'm saying? But there's so much representation of that in our community, and our community has been hijacked and compromised by the motherfucking entertainment industry and these people that are promoting these images to our youth, and have been doing that since we've been coming up. Yep. But we see how that has been affecting the health and mental health of our young folks and older folks, But definitely, we the heartbeat. I just want to say, we're the heartbeat together,
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so one of our last topics before we get into some solutions to all of these is I want to just speak on divergent realities and how, divergent realities is something that's been present even before social media, but I feel like social media has just shot it up exponentially. Sometimes I don't even know what's going on in the world. My little sister, she kind of keeps me in a loop on some things, but you got kids trying to see themselves as animals. I don't even remember. I think furries, I don't know. It's just a different world that we live in now. And it's just all based on basically how they perceive. Some people in this day and age right now, they don't see it as we're in the dark ages. They don't see it. Some people are have their feet kicked up, on the beach, or, they're seeing it as, hey, our economy is growing. Some people see, and interest rates is high. I'm struggling. Everybody around me is struggling. There's different realities. And I also want to talk about how AI, just technology in general, is taking advantage of how disassociated everyone is with, now we're going into VR. I'll never forget, there was this art project that I did 2013, 2014, and it was about how I foreseen the world becoming the movie WALL-E, and how everybody was obese, everybody was rolling around on this, everybody was stuck in the screens. And not saying I still want that to happen, but it's just I see the possibility of it very much coming true, just because we're not realizing we're giving away our power and we're giving it to some objects and some technology as if we're not the driving force. You see, species all around us are dying off, and we as a species, the human species, is dying off. They're talking about people are living longer. They are lying. We are not living longer. We're dying earlier every single day. Yeah.
Well, from my perspective, I've heard that, we are gods and we are creators and we're our own universe and stuff like that. And I guess from the sense nobody has your perspective. Nobody's going to see the world the way you see the world. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe not exactly the way you see the world, right? Mm-hmm. So, I feel in that sense, we are our own different experiences and accumulation of experiences, things we've seen, felt, and, just been around. And of course, my reality is going to be a little different than yours, and vice versa, because my experiences, where I come from and the way I perceive things is different from yours, So everybody is experiencing different realities, and we're coming together, with our different experiences, I don't think that's necessarily a negative. Maybe when, companies or governments exploit that, I guess it is what it is. But, we just got to understand that, we have different perspectives for a reason. I feel if everybody was here to see the same thing, then, life wouldn't be what it is. We wouldn't question, our world around us to try to affect it. So, I think just life is just an experience of people, different experiences coming together at one time or different times. And doing what it do, you know. But for my point though, it's like, so what I see is like the younger generation, they learning some shit that our generation already knows is bullshit. Just like all this stuff in school. You know, just imagine how many kids in school is learning about Thomas Jefferson and fucking Benjamin Franklin and all that shit that we know was ass, you know. Yeah. But they learning that shit right now, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then so we have a generation that knows that shit is bullshit, but we allowing these kids to go through that or that brainwashing. And then we know that the older folks, they got some information too, but we see them dying off as well. Yeah. Whether if it's COVID or health issues. So we're allowing ourselves to be manipulated, I guess, or taken advantage of, because we already know, especially our generation. Mm-hmm. Like we've seen the VHS tapes and to all the way to the digital shit. Yeah. We got kids that don't even know about VHS. Yeah. This is their reality, you know? So, I don't know. I just, as long as we focus on our one reality, our own perspective, and I understand how ours come together and putting these pieces together, then I feel like we just going to further be taken advantage of as a collective. Yeah.
Lastly, before we get into some solutions, I just want to mention, I think the thing that bothers me the most is how you start to realize that people are becoming just detached from what is real. I think, that bothers me. Just like going into the natural ways of life, you know, like it's not a life where you got man and woman. Now you got, you know, man, woman, all of that stuff. And then you have, like I said, I guess this goes into the labeling. Now you have like LGBTQSCY, like there's more. Let's just go to the next one. Let's just go into solutions, because we can talk about the problems all day. We can talk. Okay, so our first topic about health, we can go into some solutions just on how people can, maintain their health. I know me personally, something that I do. I now I'm a part of a mobile IV company that offers IV therapies. That's something that people can do, and that's something that's effective, because now in this day and age, like I said, we have toxins in the food, we got toxins in the air, toxins touching our skin with the fabric, and there's so many things placed against us, whereas with IV therapy, that's nutrients going directly into the bloodstream. It's going directly, you don't have to worry about if you got gut issues or your body not absorbing it properly. Well, no, that's definitely a factor too, because with anything that goes into your body, it can go in and come right out if your body isn't working right to where it can consume it or absorb it. So IV therapy, you know, we always talked about nutrition, herbalism. You know, if you go to a doctor or you go see a specialist, just get a blood work done. See what do you need more of? What do you need to take away, take back from, you know, if you do go to a doctor. And I always say this too, just about hospitals or healthcare in general. My leg is broken. For sure, take me to the hospital. You know, don't take me to no herbalism or something like that. Like, there are certain things in the healthcare system that definitely does need to be in place. But the thing that I emphasize, you know, as me, because of course I'm a nurse, is that whenever you go into these places, don't be so trusting and advocate for yourselves. That's another solution. Whenever you go into these places, question them. Going to the doctor, you won't believe how many patients I see, and I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing here? Oh, well, what's going on? What's going on with your treatment? Oh, I don't know. The doctor said this, so you don't know anything. This man could be giving you anything, and you don't know. So I always say, you know, advocate for yourselves in those spaces. You know, encourage your family to get involved, because if you have, you know, your circle doing it as well, and if you can't influence your circle, get another circle. But that's some solutions I got, like, for health. I know you got a whole lot more.
No, I think you hit a lot of it, okay. You know. Just to add to that, just being more mindful and intentional. Don't just be out here mindlessly putting shit in your body. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy as hell. You know, be informed about what you consuming. You know, you ain't gonna put anything in your car. You know what I'm saying? Why you gonna show much more respect and love for your car than you gonna put it on your vehicle? You know what I'm saying? Your vehicle. You dig? Just be intentional. Be mindful. For the religious people out there, be more God-like. You understand? You can't tell me if y'all believe in God and he was just eating here anything and putting anything in his temple. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're trying to be a reflection of that, you know what I'm saying, then, you know, follow that. Be more God-like. Don't be putting anything up in your temple. You know You understand me? Them Popeye biscuits and fries and them Takis and them Cheeto puffs and goddamn for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. You can't eat fried food for breakfast.
Yeah.
And you know that. You know what I'm saying? But we doing it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So being mindful, going back to the basics, and just leaving the do right 2-3 times a week. Yeah. Do right. You know what I'm saying? They be saying don't eat meat once a week. Nah, we in a diet situation. Once a week ain't enough. You feel me? Go to 2-3 times a week. Do something different. Surprise yourself. Look at a new recipe. And of course, holler at the Alkaline Hour, because we going to get you right. You understand? Okay. We do classes. We do goddamn meals. You understand me? Like she said, baby, we'll take you out there and forage.
That gumbo.
Yeah. We'll teach you how to forage. You understand me? And learn plants and medicinal plants right there in nature. So we fostering a community. We bringing the people together. But yeah, everything she said, in addition with y'all coming to holler at us, we got your back. You did.
Period. So now some solutions just for entrepreneurship. Of course, like I said, anytime you go into having a business, you always want to go back. I would say go within yourself first, figure out who you are as a person, what type of impact you want to make on this world, what I guess topics that you care about that moves you a certain way, and then go from there. Whenever you do figure that out, have a clear vision, be patient with yourselves, reach out, network, get accountability groups to hold you accountable. People that can help you get to where you need to go. And sometimes you got to remove yourself from the environment that you've been in. It's very hard to get where you need to go and stay around the same people. It's just hard. It doesn't work like that. You got any tips just for entrepreneurs?
Just do the most uncomfortable stuff. Do the stuff that's not sexy. We like to do the skill part of things or the technical part, but we also got to do the administrative work. Once you get down with that, learning how to file your taxes, how to file your forms, and do all that boring shit, it's going to make, once you master that and start running away from that, that's going to become second nature, just like the technical part of your business. That's what I say. Definitely all the unsexy stuff, the clerical, administrative tasks, man, master that shit like the back of your hand, and then everything else gonna come easy. And also, just because you know how to operate or do the operational tasks in a business, like say if you're a cake baker, you know how to you know how to bake cakes. You feel me? Just because you're the best fucking cake baker doesn't mean that you know how to run a cake baking business. You know what I'm saying? Those are two different things. So learn, your skill and how to operate your business, but also learn like the business side of things too. So for me, just like learning herbs and studying herbs and all of that is not what it takes to run a health business, a health store, or herb business, There's other things, marketing, advertisement, and just like I said, the non-sexy stuff, master that and everything else gonna come easy.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because financial literacy, that's I think one of the biggest things that people lack whenever they go into business, because with financial literacy, you got to understand the verbiage, you got to understand just how the market, the economy works. Like, that takes time, studying it, practicing it, and it definitely changes. The market, that's something that changes. It's definitely predictable whenever you expand it out and look at it as a whole, but that takes time, and you got to, educate yourself. Okay. For a community, just some solutions with that. I say, I guess the main thing that I like to speak on with community is how we kind of got to start off with our own families. I think people often try to join organizations, join clubs, and just, it's good to connect with other people, but where the biggest impact and where I feel like we'll make an impact faster is if everybody goes back to their home, try to reach. I mean, it's hard, like I said, we brought up the 400 years of damage, but, reaching out to mom, reaching out to dad, your siblings, your older siblings, and whenever you do have knowledge that you go out and seek, bring it back to them, because they don't have it, they don't know, and that's the only way that you can really start to see, I guess, us grow as a community. And then in addition to that, whenever you do start to have offspring, or you do have offspring, you can have, those children hang out together. I'm not a fan of the educational system. I will not be putting my kids in the educational system, but that's the solution as well, because whenever you go into homeschooling and things of that nature, you want to be able to have people to, for your kids to play with, and, their influences. Like I said, we need positive influences out here. So that's another thing. Volunteering is another way, if you do choose to give your time. Definitely, I personally like to volunteer at community gardens. Anything that's aligned with health and wellness, that's something that I choose to do. And you can use social media definitely to your advantage. That's something that we have out here to reach and connect like-minded people. Yeah.
Yeah, great points. Great points. I would also add to the community part. Can I say niggas? If I can't say niggas,
yes.
then bleep it out.
No, you can say niggas.
Niggas is scared to be niggas is scared to be role models, okay? Because you done created this community of people who look past your flaws and look past your full of shitness, and they not gonna say nothing, But when you presenting yourself to be a role model or a leader, then you putting yourself in a space to be held accountable. That those people that are just yes men or yes women around you, they not gonna hold you accountable. You understand me? So fuck all that. Excuse my language. Fuck all that. We gotta be role models. We gotta get these youth, the next generation, something to model, to emulate. You understand me? Because if not, they gonna keep seeing what they seeing on the TV screen, on Twitter, on Facebook and shit, and it's unlimited stuff that they can see. So definitely, man, we got to step up to the plate. All that FTK, fuck them kids, man, that whole mentality got to be thrown out the window, because the kids is the future. So when you saying fuck the kids, you saying fuck the future. You understand me? Real talk, but as a man, as women, grown men, as grown women, we gotta live a lifestyle that others can emulate. And even if we not there yet, we still trying to better ourselves, you understand me, and work on ourselves every day, because every day is another opportunity to bring some unity in our community. It is.
Yeah. And as you speak on the men, I guess I can speak on the women as well, because people my day and age, like, women don't really cook no more. Like, women don't really cook for real. Like, that's something that needs to be worked on. We need to get in the kitchen more for sure. Stop buying out. Maybe that's why you can't get a man, because he ain't got no food to come home to. But you got to think about that type of stuff. Because that's what I think about whenever I have little ones. Like, I can't be buying out all the time. I ain't got finances for that. But,
Another thing, women be working too much, too. They've been in a masculine space. Yes. Where they got to work and cook and take care of the kids, clean up after this nigga and everything, like he a kid, too. Yeah. So, you niggas can help in that kitchen as well. You know what I'm saying? Niggas could help that woman. But, yeah, just working together. Yeah.
And then the women really needs to be in the home the most, because from age 0 to 5, that determines a child's life. True. To so on. So you really have to dedicate that. Like, it's a really important time in which the man and the woman, family dynamics are different, so it definitely varies. But there needs to be attention in those first 5 years heavily, so you can make sure your seed is going to do well and flourish in the world. So lastly, our last topic of divergent realities. Some solutions I have to that, number one, is to definitely limit your screen time, social media time specifically, because that's alternate reality in themselves. We see what's presented on there. Like he said, whenever he first wakes up in the morning, he doesn't get on. The first thing he doesn't do is grab his phone. You won't believe how many people do that in the world. They wake up, cut the alarm off after they done snoozed it a couple times, which that's bad for you as well. Only set one alarm. Don't let the phone be the first thing that you get on. And whenever you do on it, let it be something productive. Fill the apps up. Go through, clear out all your apps that don't have anything that can further you and you as a person. That's one thing. I think just being aware that alternate realities exist and people just are going to have their own perspectives on life. That's something that's just going to help you go further and just be able to communicate with people and just understand just humans as a whole or in general. Have active listening skills, know how to have open dialogue just with anybody. Just having an open and understanding perspective. Yeah. Not really much.
Yeah. Just stand on business. Stand on you, stand on your beliefs, what you believe, and whatever your mission is, man, stand on that. Whatever reality you're in, you understand me? Just be you, and any of them. You know what I'm saying? Shit. And just bring your energy to different spaces. You never know who needs that. So that's what I said.
Yes. I mean, that basically sums it up, everybody. That was episode 6 of Real Conversations, Real Solutions, where, we're going to keep it real. Hopefully y'all found things that it was highly valuable, some things that you can take home, some things that you can share with somebody. Share this video with anybody if you feel like, dang, what was this they spoke on? Or what was this? Like, let me read into that more. They said get my health right. Look into this. This is definitely something that's for entertainment, but it's also educational as well. Let the people know, where they can find you at, a little bit more about what you do, just, your little spiel.
Hey, man, if you're looking at me, I ain't too hard to find, baby. 4414 South Marcellus Avenue, 75216. 4414 South Marcellus Avenue, 75216, baby. That's the Alkaline Hours where my health story is located. We open 7 days a week. Right now it's 12 to 8. We might open up earlier. Right now 12 to 8, 7 days a week. Doing good in the hood, man. We're a health store. We're an herbal store. We sell herbs, over 100 herbs. We source our stuff from all over the world. We have teas and just different blends and, just health resources to help you become more confident, your ideal you, and make your dreams come true through diet and lifestyle, baby. You understand me? Because that's where I believe everything starts. We on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, at The Alkaline Hour. Tap into all that. I also do music, like she said. I'm a musician as well. I go by Brotha Shawt. Check that out and just tune in, man, to any of the platforms, especially platforms like this where they putting the real out, because it's a lot of fake news out there, a lot of fake information, a lot of bull stuff, and this is something that, I like to be a part of. I appreciate you having me.
Yes, pleasure.
For sure, and we need more spaces like this, more conversations like this in our community, in our culture, for sure.
Yes. And it has been a pleasure. Like I said, you're somebody that I literally consider like a walking solution. Like everything I feel like that you emulate, that you embody, that you do in your everyday life, like it's a solution. Like it's something that's going to be, a problem solver. So, and that's some place, I'm trying to get to. But yeah, that wraps up this episode. So thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see y'all in the next one. That's it.